Hello and welcome to this new video on my channel. So today I'm pretty sure you came into the video because the title says JET program. And yes, exactly, that is what I'll be talking about today. And it's been long overdue, so I think it's time for me to put out what I've actually experienced while I was applying for the JET program and while I'm in the JET program. I hope this video will be helpful to all those who will be applying very soon or not so soon. We are currently in a pandemic, so I'm not sure when you are actually watching this video, but I hope this will still be helpful during your time. So yes, let's get into it right away. So first, let me introduce myself for all those who are new to this channel. I'm Princess, and I'm currently a second year JET participant. I am placed in Sakuragawa City under the Board of Education of Sakuragawa, and yeah, I teach elementary kids. So first, let me talk about the application period. So when I applied in 2019, they started the application around November, and the deadline was like first week of January. That time, I didn't know about JET program, and I only found out when they were already in the process of application. So I found out about it around early December, so that was quite late. And actually, I was still in Korea at that time. So after I knew about it, I started, gathering up all the documents I needed, and basically I had to send it to the Philippines. I think for the batch that was supposed to come this year, they started the applications for that earlier than my batch, because I think I saw them posting about it already around September, which was so early. And I'm recording this video in September. So if it was in the regular schedule, they're probably starting applications soon. So it's different for every country. In the Philippines, I guess they did it early because they wanted to prepare with enough time. In other countries, probably later. I think they do interviews much later. Even I was so surprised that they did ours much earlier. So next, let's talk about requirements. So let me just get my computer here and read out the requirements because I have not memorized them. So first, application form, and then the JET program self-report of medical condition. These two forms will be provided when they announce the application period, so don't worry. Certified record or transcript, this is for your university studies. Statement of purpose essay, so this is going to be your essay piece for the JET application. Just basically talk about yourself and why you want this. I'll get into it more soon. Certification of graduation, your diploma, or basically a certificate that you graduate. Letters of reference, so these are people who recommend you and they ask for 2 people. Teaching or language proficiency qualification. If you are a licensed teacher or you have a certification in teaching, this will be helpful in your application. Also, if you have a JLPD certificate, then of course that helps a lot. Proof of citizenship, so this could be your passport or some government ID or something that just shows that you are a citizen of your country. Next is criminal record and health examination. So these 2 requirements will be required of you once you pass the second step of the application. So for now, in your first submission of documents, you don't need this. Let's talk about statement of purpose. So a lot of people have questions about this, like what do you put in it, what would be good, what am I supposed to talk about. So I want to let you know about what I did and what I included, and this definitely is different for every person. When I was applying, I was also trying to search like how others wrote theirs, and I got some pretty good tips from others. So now I will share to you what I did. I included first of why I was interested in Japan. I had this one paragraph that explained the growth of my interest in Japan. For me, I was not really too interested in Japan until like just a few years back when I actually traveled to Japan 2 times, and I got to see how the country is, and it gave me some thoughts of actually living there. I mean, living here. I'm in Japan. So next, you want to include also some of your teaching experience. So if you're already a teacher, you just explain how you got into where you are right now, what was your journey. And if you're not really somebody who was in teaching, in education, then try to find some areas where you were able to contribute to the education, the English education of somebody. So in my experience, I didn't really have like a formal education experience, but I did have some experience in language exchange. So I was teaching somebody English and somebody was teaching me Korean when I was in university. So I also had some tutorial experience. I tutored a junior high student and also a high school student. I also tutored a really small kid. This was a really wide range, and it was just like for, like part-time when I was still a student. And then you can include things that you want to experience in Japan. Why do you want to go there? Like, if you get there, what are you gonna do? What are your plans? Like, try to connect it also with what you will experience, what you're expecting to experience in the program. So in my case, I said that I wanted to get into the Japanese culture by seeing the school culture, like getting into their different events, understanding how they do things inside the school, and also like attending, just different cultural events in Japan. It also helps if you had a cultural exchange experience, like where in a setting where you were with international people and you were able to introduce your country, represent your country. Things like that also help because it shows that you are able to go somewhere that is different and be able to represent your identity, where you're from, your country. And in my case, I lived in Korea, and basically living in a different country overall is like being a representative of your country. So I view that as an experience of being the Philippines ambassador. Yeah. If you also had some Japan related experience, like you traveled to Japan for exchange, for a conference, for a seminar, or like something that shows the ties between your country and Japan, then that is a plus, definitely. And lastly, you want to probably also explain how this whole program is going to help me in becoming the person that I want to be in the future, and helping me in my career. So because I am more into the media industry, I was explaining that I wanted to be in Japan and experience more of its culture, understand the people, the environment, and just take all that stuff and execute ideas and videos, possibly reflecting all those things that I've learned throughout my time in the program. So that's what I wrote at the end of my statement. So yeah, that's how I wrote the essay. In this one, you need 2 recommendation letters, so you need 2 people. And in my case, I chose my 2 professors in university. They know me very well. They know what kind of things I've achieved and what are my strengths and how their classes have helped me actually grow. I think it's very good if you find somebody from your previous workplace or some mentor that you had while you were still studying or while you're working. These people will be able to write well for your recommendation letter. So the first professor was my teacher in academic English. He knew my skills with English. I also sought him for tips on how to teach kids when I was still doing my tutoring. And yeah, he was overall helpful, so thank you, Professor. The second professor who helped me was actually a media teacher, but in his class, he taught us about media and culture. During that class, we learned a lot about understanding different cultures, minorities, etc. I also did well in that class, so I sought that professor for a recommendation because I knew he knew how I performed, and that through his class, I was able to grow as a person in understanding different cultures, which will be helpful when you live in a different country. Self-report of medical condition. Yeah, I had to read it because I can't memorize it. So this is just reporting what you actually know about yourself in terms of your health condition, and they have like a bunch of questions. I will try to read some because they're quite interesting. So of course, first they will ask if you have any existing medical condition at the moment, or if you have any previously, or in the last few years, whatever. They will ask you that. If you do have, you have to explain about it. If you don't, then just say none. There's this one funny thing, like they have a question: do you foresee any challenges resulting from the need to go up and down several flights of stairs on a daily basis? If yes, please explain. I guess they asked this because being in a school, of course, you will go up and down a lot. Now that I think of it, I go to the first floor to the third floor a lot, up and down, up and down, up and down. So yeah, it's going to be a challenge if you hate stairs, or if you have some like problems with your knees, your ankle, your foot. So they want to be sure you can actually move yourself around the school. They will also ask questions about allergies. Of course, it's important because if you ever go to a junior high school or an elementary school, you would have school lunch. School lunches are already decided, so they will list down what kind of food they're serving for this day or this month. If you have allergies, that could probably affect how you eat. I think so far there was not really like somebody who got turned down because of an allergy, but you have to be careful when you do get into those kind of schools because you might eat some allergens that are not good for you. So they also ask about any disabilities with your eyesight, if you have any color blindness whatsoever. I don't think that's a deal breaker anyway. Just honestly input your current condition. Yeah, that was most of like the questions for there. Nothing too medical, like reporting about your, what's the vision in your right and your left eye, something like that. Those will come in when you pass the second round. So those were the ones I wanted to discuss for the application. This is simply just like the documents and like basically submitting them in the embassy or the consulate. I told you I was in Korea when I gathered up all these documents, and it was good that I was in Korea because I was able to go to the school, get those documents like the transcript. I was able to meet my professors and ask them for the letters. Yeah, so it was pretty good timing. I put all of those stuff in like a DHL bag and like sent it to the Philippines. I was so anxious if it was gonna make it on time or not. I even asked my mom to kind of like call DHL and like, are you sure they're delivering it today? The embassy might be closed this day, and there's like a bunch of holidays in between. So, but yeah, I made it, so it's fine. For the interview, I will go into that on my next video. So please stay tuned, and yeah, hope to see you on the next one. Bye.